Beautiful day. It's still global morning, and of course the second conversation is on right now. We just finished talking about godfatherism and the role it plays and its impact on developments. Now let's look at governance. 2024, I think I've already bid farewell to 2024, but then the impact and the history, some of the things that happened in 2024, you can't just take it away like that, because there are some things you need to look at to even make your plannings, all right, for 2025. And I want to look at some very salient issues today. 2025 outlook, as a matter of fact, politics and governance in perspective. This is 2025, a lot of expectation. The president has been speaking. In the papers today, the president said, well, state governors should know that the key to the development of Nigeria is in their hands. And the governors on their own part came to say, well, so many things, the dividend of democracy, of governance will be felt in 2025. If you remember from the media chat of the president, so many promises. You know, the president will always tell you there is hope. Some economists have actually said, well, as it is, we are not totally out of track, but we are not on track yet. Certain things need to be done. Different perspective, people mirroring the economy from different angles. And today we want to look at 2025. Okay, 2024 just came and gone, and I have my guest joining me in the studio. Is an economist and a development expert. Is Dr. Aliu Ilyas. It's good to have you in the studio this morning.
Thank you for having me, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. We're just saying for the first time this year. Yes. Well, I think it's good that 2025 is here. We really long for it. A lot of people who are longing for 2025, because some persons believe that the name 2024, some persons don't even want to identify with it at all. Now we are into 2025. From the way things are, it's not going to be a magic, but then is there some prospects in 2025, as a matter of fact, looking at 2024?
Right, I think in Nigeria we are good at having hope, so we keep hope alive. And you recall President Bola Ahmed Tinubu with a renewed
hope agenda.
So we are keeping to that. However, it's quite a challenging year for Nigeria 2024. We've got to see what we have never seen before. We've got to manage ourselves beyond how we used to manage ourselves. We have been exposed to managing ourselves the more. However, it's quite challenging when we talk about economy, politics, and governance. Let's start from economy. It was very challenging economic situation. You recall that during that period we have increment in the price of PMS, which was very challenging. You also recall that during that period we also have a forex problem. And you also recall that during that same period, we have inflation. Every macroeconomic indices were negative. However, I also have good news during that period, which is coming up of a refinery. In fact, there was a New Year gift of refinery. But it's not producing PMS, it's only geo and kerosene. However, it shows that for the first quarter, which we are in already in 2025, I don't expect much for the economy. But second quarter, we are thinking with the incoming of the Dangote in 2024, with the working of the refinery, maybe we'll have a best and a good forex. That because transportation of PMS commodities are actually go up about 40% of our forex. But now I don't think we are going to embark on that. Even though I'm of the opinion that we should still continue to import fuel in 2025, maybe 10%, 15%, so that we can really have that competition. Then in terms of political intrigues, well, it's a fallout of 2023. So President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is getting to stabilize is this. But the major one was I think Okebolo actually came to become the governor. So a lot of things actually happen politically, but when the economy is not stable, Nigerians may look away from the policy. Then in terms of governance, we've seen a lot of things, especially with what happens with the tax reform. Tax reform bring about political issues a lot, because you can see some people say no, especially a particular region say no, you can't just come and bring about this. And I agree with them to an extent, because people are looking at the tax reform policy itself. They may not be fighting tax reform policy. They may be trying to tell the president that no, Mr. President, you still have the say. You can't do everything hook, line, and sinker, because I recall that he removed solely the subsidy. He also bring about a flotation of naira. Then tax reform, they say you should come and consult us. And I think it's also buying time to actually achieve that. So for 2025, it's going to be interesting, because late 2025 we're expecting plan for election, because that's another thing. But we expect the government to not to allow that to affect governance, at least for this year. Next year it will be what we cannot even tell him not to, because it's a first timer, so you want to go to the second time. But for economy, I think our president needs to do more. We need to tell him the fact that Nigeria are really feeling bad. And in his media chat I referred to, I was surprised when he made mention that a friend of him was using Rolls Royce before, and now he's using Honda. I tried to just oppose that to a poor man who eats 3 square meal. Are you now saying don't eat 3 square meal again? 1 square meal is enough. That's most people's interpretation.
All right. Well, I think that analogy got me there. That analogy got me there. Well, as it is right now, looking at the budget that was presented, so many people are expecting so much. Some persons are saying, well, there are some missing links. There are some provisions that are not there. And some persons are saying, in one of the papers this morning, it was talking about the fact that debt servicing, debt is going to become a thing that Nigerians will not have to worry about. Too much is being taken care of based on the budget. But some persons are still not satisfied with the budget. I remember what the president said when he was presenting the budget at the National Assembly, that every one of them stand elected, and people were like, oh, that statement, there is more to it, meaning the presidency is focused on politicking instead of governance, as a matter of fact, because Nigerians can actually read meaning to so many things. But then generally, let's look at the budget, the budget that was presented at the National Assembly. Do you notice missing links, or you feel, well, at the end of the day, because they said we're shifting it to everything to January, it's not something we can finish on time? Do you see that as maybe a way to do one or two maneuvering, or to do a balance or sort of?
Right. First and foremost, I think that budget falls short of my own expectation. One, why do we have to kill January to December calendar for anything? What could be the reason? Perhaps it could be maybe government expect tax reform to have passed, so they will now fix in the budget. So I think it's a very negative thing. Government Buhari was able to keep that calendar very, very well, restore it and kept it for over time. But now that have been shifted to January. That simply means there are some expenditure that will be shifted. So because we're supposed to hit the ground running, so now you have to shift budget, and that's why they quickly look for another loan to complete the 2024. So for me, I think that shifting should not happen again. Then number two, I don't expect more from this budget, because the amount is too small for the Nigerian budget. I will tell you why. Last year, budget was around in dollar, right? Let me go to in dollar. In dollar, this year budget is smaller compared to last year budget. That simply means what this year budget will do will be less compared to what last year budget will actually do, which is not a good one. Then for me, I'm a proponent of doing a big budget. And I'll tell you why. If you go to South Africa, go to Egypt, or even go to Brazil, you see that we are not even doing half of their budget. I expected that we do 100 trillion naira budget, because that's how we can solve the Nigerian problem. I can tell you, if you look at this budget, 15 trillion is going for debt servicing. and about 16 is going for social infrastructure, which is capital expenditure. And recurrent expenditure is there. Recurrent doesn't benefit me, which is the capital that expenditure. So now you are telling us that for social infrastructure, you have only that about 15 trillion for it, which covers maybe health, education, road, social amenities. So that simply means we are getting very, very little. So let me give you a good example. It is said that our housing deficit needs 6 trillion to solve the problem. So do you think we can even mark 1 trillion for housing in this case? Even our agriculture that is suffering, I don't think we have up to 1 trillion for the whole agricultural sector, which is a serious problem. So for me, we are doing a small budget and cannot solve our problem. So imagine if we now say, okay, this year our deficit, let's solve deficit in housing. Let's go for 6 trillion to solve that problem. This year we are solving road infrastructure that in about 32 trillion. Let's even look at 10 trillion for it. That could solve the problem. So for me, in the long run, I want Nigeria to get to borrow. If you want to borrow, please borrow big. Don't borrow money that it's small to solve our problems. That's my view.
All right, I'll just get something very big that the impact can be obvious.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to governance now. In 2024, so many things happened as it has to do with governance, and one of the things that Nigerians are actually looking forward to in 2025 is how they can actually go to the market and be able to get what they can actually eat. But now, let's look at it from the area of supervision of projects in Nigeria, because some people feel like the budget for school feeding program it's returning, and we knew what happened in the previous administration, what really happened with that, all of that with the school feeding program. That's just one aspect of it. We're talking about things that will affect Nigerians. I think the loan that was taken in 2024 was in trillions. Okay, what the banks, about 8 banks, got was in trillions. It was on the papers this morning, and that's to tell you of what Nigerians are going through. What do you think can be done differently, okay, in 2025 to make Nigerians at least not 100%, we can't say, just like you said, the first quarter we may not be expecting so much, but then do you think there are some things that could be done to ameliorate to an extent what Nigerians are going through, so that at least they can just be a breath of relief, just a little bit? Let's know that we're out of 2025.
Well, first and foremost, I think we have process problem. You made mention of a school feeding program. Any program that involves passing money through people's hands is a problem. So, but when you have process that the money goes to the bank directly, from the bank it goes to where they buy the items, I think it makes more sense. Now, in 2025, I also tell people that please don't buy what you want, buy what you need, because it's still there that we may think the purchasing power will increase. There is no sign that your purchasing power will increase for now, because fuel commodity is still very, very expensive. Transportation is still very, very expensive. And I was thinking by the end of 2025 would have a SUCO. And how do I mean? You recall President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said he's giving out 10 billion to each state to get a bus, a CNG bus. That we have not heard much about it. Now, that means our transportation is going to continue to be as it were. Because if there's anything that is taking money from Nigerian pocket, is food and transportation. Then President Bola Ahmed Tinubu tell us that by now we will have a CNG covering everywhere. I can tell you I use a CNG car, a converted car, but I can tell you I struggle to buy CNG. I have to trade off 2 to 3 hours to get CNG. And when you get there, they say there is no pressure. And I can tell you, even the NNPCL is the major problem. If you go to their stations, they are not taking the CNG business serious at all. Then if you go to the other one, I think the NIPCO that started it, they are actually doing well. Why is it that NIPCO will be supplying NNPC? It's a contradiction that we should not see. Then the next thing is the issue of food. I think if food is on our table, I think our problem is half solved.
Yeah.
But as it is now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on July 2023 promised that he declared state of emergency on food security. And up till now, we have not seen a difference. In fact, food inflation is the highest and it's about 41%. So that means he only say it, there is no any practical work. And I can go back to Buhari and Koborowa and Buhari's solutions to agriculture. I can tell you, we can't compare it to now. Because it's clearly, even now, we can see the flow of even rice. Most of us still eat local rice as it were. It's because of his own effort. We can also see his effort in railway. So I want this president also to look at how do I solve people's problems, especially food related issues, because food supply chain is a major problem. There could be food in Bauchi, but how do you transport that food in Bauchi to Abuja? The cost of transportation is higher than the cost of the food itself. So until we look at it, and if you don't have energy security in the country, that country will be experiencing what we actually experience. And that's why the President Muhammad Buhari President Bola Ahmed Tinubu handler need to do more to make sure that they get to tell him, because from his media chat I discovered that he actually knows what is actually going on. He's in charge. So that's the president that we said is not in charge, but this one is actually in charge. So if there is suffering, I think the suffering is directly from the Mr. President. So we are calling on him to try to solve it, especially food and transportation.
All right, food and transportation, very major. These are major amenities. These are things that Nigerians will need to survive in 2025. Let's go down to the local government autonomy, because most times people talk about the presidency, but then let's get to the grassroots a little bit. Local government autonomy, as far as the judgment from the court is concerned, it has come to stay. If we want to go by the judiciary, all right, if the judiciary is still the judiciary that we used to know, but then the implementation is still lingering to an extent. Okay, now local government autonomy, the governors are there, the chairman. It was outright. You need to do election. You must be duly elected into office as a chairman before you can enjoy all of this. The problem at the grassroots, okay, do you think tackling it has to be from the people at the grassroots? Talking about the president, that statement coming from the president that the key of the nation to develop Nigeria is in the hands of the governors. Then you talk about the local government chairman. Do you think this will solve our problem at the grassroots if the autonomy is fully 100% implemented?
Right, I think once you implement it 100%, like you said, we are going to be in Eldorado. That means Nigeria is going to be better for it. But we see a lot of challenges. The fourth bureaucratic bottleneck was what the president has actually solved through his his Attorney General of the Federation, where he took it to court, and it was clearly spelled out that yes, the autonomy must go back to the governors. Then they still go further and said, if you do not do election for the local authorities, you will definitely not be able to. So you could see the rush at which every governor tried to actually, and it's gladdening. But the implementation is a problem. I also get to know that the enforcement will start this January, so we are waiting for government must go beyond the. President must go beyond the rhetorics, though he has even gone beyond rhetorics and put action, but he must drive it down. Because I recall the governor of Anambra, Charles Chukwuma Soludo, who is going to have election this year, his National Assembly passed a bill that said that any money that comes to local government must remit particular amounts to the states. And I was surprised that so the elected National Assembly could actually work on. That means governors will find a way to still make sure that they are still in charge of the fund, until except one thing that we must do. And what is that thing? The election of local governments must be out of governors' hands. Because if it is not out of their hands, they will still use if it's still within their whims and caprices, they will still find a way to get those funds back. You recall Governor Dapo Abiodun of Ogun State. One of his local government chairman, a journalist who become a local government chairman, actually asked some questions concerning funds. They just find a way within a week through the state assembly and remove him as local government chairman. That's how terrible it is. You cannot even say, even the album, they cannot say anything. So I think the onus is still on the Mr. President to find a way to inject national influence on the local government elections. Whereby, because imagine if APC is the, as it were now, once APC is the governor, or every local government chairman is APC. If it's ABGA, if it's PDP, that's how it goes. But imagine if the governor is PDP and about 5 local government chairman is APC, and that one is what's the name, Labour, and PDP also have. It will make sure that, you know why, those local government chairman will be trying to perform, because they know they perform, people actually like them, vote for what they actually want. But now you don't vote for who you want, it's who the state governors actually want, and that thing is still affect the national. Because the national have more of governors in the same political party, they also want to influence the local government. So I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu needs to do more. Though he has been a champion for that, you recall that he was the first person who have local LCDA, they call it in Lagos. They have more local government than what government actually assigned. So that there's a way the money, once the money comes, they divide it across the LCD as it were. I think he need to do more. You recall he also suffered from President Bola Obasanjo, that he didn't pay him for about a year. He didn't give him those some fund. So I think he should do more. He's doing well now, but he should do more. This January he start implementing them. But by the end of the year, we should also see National Assembly coming in and say, no, let us have independent electoral commission for local government.
For local government.
Yeah,
are you sure are you sure they will be able to handle it?
It depends on National Assembly. If National Assembly actually wants to do it, the politics, remember the president is going to support them, and that will be very, very fine. It will have relieved Nigerians from the hands of the government. And like President also say, our development still lies on the hand of the governors. A good example, we have FAC allocation. What are they doing with it? I can tell you readily, the governor of Nigeria State, when he collects his own FAC allocation, he quickly go and invest in agriculture. How many of them are investing in a sector that is going to develop their state? Most of them come to FCT cap in hand to collect the FAC allocation.
Well, this is Nigeria for you, and as a matter of fact, let's see how the implementation of the local government autonomy will go at the local government council. But then we're talking about sanitizing the system. What will be of the local government if there is a full implementation? Let's talk a little bit about international relations. In 2024, we had a lot of travels. You know, the president and his vice, traveled, visited so many countries, attended meetings, conferences, all in a bid to lure investors into the country, even though we have some investors leaving as a result of the challenging economy. Now, the France and Niger Republic, they fall apart, not just Niger Republic and these other ECOWAS countries that left. Let's look at it holistically. In 2025, you feel that should continue, or you feel, well, the one that was done in 2024, we should wait a little bit and see the impact. But then, diplomatic relationship, and it's something you can't take away for every country. And remember, Nigeria is a big nation, and we would want to see these countries come invest. But then, how is the economy of the nation? If you want to talk about countries coming to invest.
All right. Well, for me, I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu traveling every now and then, it's not bad, but it will translates to a foreign direct investment. I don't see it. I only believe that, well, you can get much more diaspora remittance. People abroad now are enjoying because they have more money when they change it to Nigeria currency. So I think we can have much more diaspora remittance. But in terms of foreign direct investment, I don't think, because where are they coming? Investors look at the climb they are coming. What is obtainable? I can tell you our NPR, our interest rate is about over 27%. Who want to come and invest in that environment? We have insecurity. Who want to come invest in that area? So we must first and foremost make sure they have an enabling environment. Most companies have gone. Let me even go to pharmaceutical companies. I recall GSK have left Nigeria, and since GSK left Nigeria, inhaler was sold, is being sold at 1,600 when they are run. Really left it, moved to 10,000.
10,000.
I would not have import substitution. Maybe we could even have another company, government empower them to actually, and other manufacturing sectors are saying that they have unsold. Why not encourage them to even change perspective and support them? So I don't see it coming. In terms of a diplomatic relationship, I think our relationship, ECOWAS, you recall that immediately President Bola Ahmed Tinubu become president, they made him ECOWAS president, chairman rather. And when they make him that chairman, immediately there was coup at Niger Republic. It was not well managed. We must continue to say it. Niger, we have long time history and they are our neighbors. So I think we would have managed it better. So on that back, at the back of that, Nigerians believe that President of Nigeria goes to France every time. Perhaps they have relationship that is going to negate all their plan. That's why you could recall that by the dead end of last year, Niger started saying that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a stood or what have you, that is actually supporting France to really finish them. They try to, is it cast as passion, we say it now, which is not true. So but diplomatically, I think we are trying. Another one we should expect in January now is Trump is going to take up the mantle of leadership in America. What does it have made for Nigeria and Africa? That is the question now.
So that's the next question I wanted to ask, because we talked about it. We okay, was it from diplomatic perspective?
Yeah, before the election. 2 days before
that was it is, because if you even in America, so many things are happening. Even Americans right now, everybody is like trying to stand on their toes to do the right thing, and people who are not Americans, who are just maybe citizenship by maybe nationalization, birth, and all of that. People who are not real, U.S. born citizens who are not. Now, the issue of living in the United States has posed a lot. And remember what happened during Obama. Obama had a different perspective until throughout his period. He never visited Nigeria, even though he came very close. But then, that doesn't stop the Nigerian president from congratulating America if any good thing happens. What are you thinking about Donald Trump? Is it going to be a different ball game altogether? Because already statements, there are handwritings on the wall already. People are speculating a whole lot that it may not be too juicy, all right, for the non-Americans and even Africa, as a matter of fact. Then we talk about Nigeria. What's your thoughts?
There's a news making the rounds that if you are in Nigeria and you are American citizen, or you are Nigerian American citizen, that you should return back home before they will swear in Trump. Because they swear him, he can declare that nobody should come from those places against America. So I think Trump is I like his style to an extent. He said American first. Don't blame whoever said my country first. But he also forgotten that he himself have origin from somewhere. I don't think he's native like that. But I'm sure that people like Obama and Bush, they won't allow him to actually survive, because national assembly, their state assembly, national assembly is still there to actually do a lot. But it's going to have effects on Nigeria economy. I can tell you that. But we have a shock absorber now. So what is the effect? America is a global, has global influence on fuel, oil industry, because they have oil, but they are not part of OPEC. They are on their own, and their influence can affect every other thing. So that simply means that they are one of the biggest buyer for Nigeria. Oil. So they may want to reduce their relationship with us. We have to look at it from trade policy. So you may review trade policy that will affect Nigeria. But if it's for oil, I think Dangote has come as shock absorber. I can tell you Dangote can easily make us not to feel a lot of things. Though oil is a global commodity whereby it can be influenced by forex, it can also be influenced by OPEC decisions. But by and large, I think it's a good one that we have shock absorber. However, Trump decision is going to actually have an influence. But it's also have positive externalities. You recall that Trump negates LGBTQ. So it may be a positive one for Nigeria, because anything that is obtainable in America usually find its way in our local arena here. So I think that's the positive side of it.
All right, that's the positive side of it. But then talking about the borders, though before now it has not been very easy for Nigerians getting visa, to the United States compared to other countries. Well, those are diplomatic issues. But now, moving away from there, let's come back to Nigeria right now as it is. We're looking at the outlook of 2025. What are we expecting? What do we need to do? But then, when you talk about corruption in Nigeria, we just heard that about the fights in different parts of the country, the insecurity of a thing. What's your assessment of the level of insecurity in 2024, and what should we be expecting in 2025? Remember, we have a new army chief right now. Then there is this new Lokarawa, that is up, and we heard that even on the papers this morning, it's been said that, well, they are not to be taken seriously, that it's going to be wiped out. And remember how Boko Haram was pampered until we got to where we are today. So security situation in the country, we can't go to the farm. So many things can't happen. What's your assessment of the security situation, and what are we expecting in 2025?
Well, I think we must take our security very serious. I must go beyond kinetic to non-kinetic, because what I see virtually every time is for us carrying gun and to go. You could recall that they shot from there's an airstrike.
Airstrike, yes.
That we said it also affects non-terrorists, and that's a serious problem. I also recall we buy Tucano jet. Have not seen it. You see us use it. I don't know the diplomatic reasons. I think you have to explore the diplomatic reason why we are not using that Tucano jet to fight terrorism. But beyond that, I think 2024 we saw an increment in the level of security. We must be sincere, because especially for FCT that I reside, I discovered that since Wike decided to face it head on, you hardly hear even one chance, you hardly hear kidnapping as it used to be before. So I expect other states to also look into that, because according to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, betterment of Nigeria is in the governor's hand. So they must also do more, because you cannot expect the federal to do everything for you. But going to 2025, I believe the good part of the security apparatus, as in their level of improvement, will flow into it, and I think we can even justify it. If you look at the amount we are expending on security, we can check the budget. I think it's the highest so far, and it's year in year. In fact, President Muhammadu Buhari prioritized spending money, but I think after about 10 years now, if you calculate Buhari government and Tinubu, it's almost 10 years now. We should have seeing a serious, positive result. But I have issue with other security apparatus, such as DSS, police, and Nigerian civil defense, because it's as if it's army that is actually in the front every now and
I think they used to have joint task force where you have
yes, but
a handful of.
If there is intelligence from DSS and police, I don't think these people will survive to this extent. So I think we need to do more on our intelligence and technology, because I know DSS can track a lot of things. They should track these people, track their next plan, because if you know their next plan, you can bust their bubble at every time. By the time you bust bubble of like 3-4 plans, they will know that yes. But
these people are us.
But army will always go and fight them, physically. Why don't we discover, like Lukarawas? They have been in the country for over 4 years. They try to relate with people, telling them they are providing security. You know, we would have checked their trajectory, you know, and stop them before they now become a menace, not a menace, an evil to the country.
The issue of identifying sponsors of this terrorism, we've heard about that in the past. Nigerians were saying, let it come to a time where it will get to name calling, call names. Let's know who these people are. We hear of, okay, let's negotiate. All right, and some persons have actually proposed that there should be negotiation between these people. Do you think that there are people in this country who really know, who are really sponsoring these terrorists, and why are they not being shown to the public? We've not seen anyone being executed, but we hear, even recently, we still heard that there could be negotiation, and we still heard that there are some persons who are sponsoring this terrorism. So why are they not known and prosecuted?
I think our three presidents now are guilty of that. You recall during President Jonathan, Goodluck Jonathan, he said there are Boko Harams in my cabinet. But we expect him to fish them out, then he was unable. You also recall that during President Muhammadu Buhari, Dubai government said they trace some people that are transferring money to Boko Harams. And they told Mr. President failed to bring them to book publicly. Up till now, we still don't know. Is it about 8 of them, they said. You know, for the Dubai government to trace their transfer and what have you, we didn't do anything. So, and for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I don't understand. Somebody who will steal a fowl, he will be given a death sentence. And somebody would have committed kidnapping, murder, and it's clear, and we say we want to pardon the person. I don't know. There is a serious contradiction until we take the bull by the horn and make sure that anybody who is traced to have committed kidnapping, to have committed murder, to have belongs to any of the terrorist gangs should be wiped out. So also in the eastern part of Nigeria, we have unknown gunmen up till now. In fact, I was in a discussion with some of my friends that are from the east. They cannot even access their community. One is telling me that over 3 years you cannot go to this community. Some are saying there's some area that you cannot just pass in southeast, that you fall to the den of kidnappers, you know, or those that they are calling unknown gunmen. And in a country that have law, you know, it's surprising that and that's why I said it's beyond the kinetic approach. We must start doing our research on knowing that who are these people that are perpetrating this evil and bring them to book. So I think until we stop treating them with kids' glove, they will continue to perpetrate this evil act.
Well, our time is fast spent, but let's see if we can make use of the next 2-3 minutes to talk about the judiciary. Remember, in 2023, after the election, there was a slogan, go to court, you know, and that became a slogan in Nigeria. And the all-circle elections, so many things happening in Nigeria, the NSAS, end bad governance, you know, the judiciary as an arm of the government have played a vital and pivotal role in 2024, and Nigerians are still wondering if the judiciary is still the judiciary that we used to know, because some Nigerians will come and tell you outrightly that the judicial system has been compromised. You know, I was speaking with a legal practitioner a few days ago, and the person said until the game players in the system are not being appointed by the executive, they wouldn't get it right. What's your own school of thought?
Right, I think judiciary is a hope of the last hope of
the common man.
But I don't know how true that it is now, because we have lawyers who attend to, justice who attend to political cases and even civil and common cases that are supposed to attend. So sometimes we even suffer more because they delay your own. Somebody will have a case in court, take 10 years. Or it's political issue within 2 years. It's been resolved. I think that's a bad. But in terms of, for me, I think they have the autonomy. They are not maximizing the autonomy. Maybe perhaps because the president will also approve or appoint some of the top people in the top echelon of those areas. But by and large, I think you recall that even states have a lot of issues with it, whereby we see state governors buying judiciary, buying chief justice, buying judges different. How do you expect such judges? That's the case they brought about Wiki. Wiki is even good at that. Anywhere he is, he sure he build fine edifice for the judiciary, he give them cars. In as much as I think, for me, I think it's wrong. In as much as they have their autonomy, why not put that in their budgets and let them buy the car by themselves, let them build the house by themselves in their budget? By the time you are giving them something, we think they will compromise. That's the assumption, and it's common. It's a common sense that whoever pays the piper dictates the tone. So for me, I think we need to change a new leaf, 2025, to make sure that our judiciary have their total independence from the executive influence.
Do you think the average Nigerians have any role to play in societal development or national development? Or because what a lot of people feel is, okay, we're Nigerians, the government, if the government doesn't do it, no one else does it. Do the average Nigerians have any role to play in national development at all?
Well, we have, and we are doing it. What I'm doing now is a national role, is a national responsibility, trying to call the attention of government. But the thing is, if you look at this government, I must tell you, it seems hostile to any other ideas that is not coming from them. You recall even Governor, is it Bala Mohammed, when he said the government should, they said he's threatening the president. So as a citizen, they try to form any, how do I call it, protest. You are going to be there. So why people in this government enjoy protests to the extent that they even use it to influence people and become the government of the day, but they're not tolerating. So I think there should be more tolerance. Why Nigeria should continue to speak up. We will continue to speak up for a good governance, because we don't have any other place to go. This is our country, and we must continue to contribute our quotas.
All right. That having been said, it means we need to give it all up for SERAP and other civil society organizations. And thanks to the media too. And
you're actually giving us voice to also say what we want to say.
And it's so good that you people are always, our guests are always up and doing to make sure people are informed. The orientation, the level of orientation that we get on these programs on global television is just on a very high frequency, and that's the reason we are here. Thank you very much, Doctor, for coming around on the program today. Well, today is public holiday. You're supposed to be resting, but I want to pull you out. I don't think Nigerians. I don't even know. I work across board, so the public holiday is over. So
thank you for having me.
Thanks so much, Doctor, for coming, and that's going to be the size of the program for this morning. It's been a very wonderful time beginning from 7 a.m. until now. And don't forget that so many other programs are lined up for you on global television. Keep tab on the frequency, and so much will be coming on your way. Thanks for staying with us this morning. My name is Ramsey Enoch. Have a beautiful day ahead of you. Bye-bye for now.
Welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure. If you don't say we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rate as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
What you call the police station, before they even leave, they take permission from
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
the struggle, the ASU strike.
Education volunteer that said, give me 2 weeks.
It was a life. The president never gave me any deadline.